Tonight, live, we have Jess Turunen, Mrs. Australia Continents 28. Tonight, on the PageantCast. TKPN.
Welcome to the PageantCast, your home for beauty pageant news and interviews on the internet.
Hi, I'm Whitney Montgomery, your Mrs. Texas Galaxy 2017, and you are watching the PageantCast, the internet's first podcast about beauty pageants. And here's your host, Tim Kretschmann.
And we are live. Thanks everybody for tuning in tonight here on the PageantCast. We have a very special guest that we are calling in a completely different time zone on the absolute opposite ends of the earth. We really do. And we're going to be talking to Jess Turunen, Mrs. Australia Continents 2018, who... Jess, where are we calling you tonight, or where are we Skyping you?
Hi, I'm on the Gold Coast in Australia.
The Gold Coast, that sounds very exciting. Where is it exactly in the country?
So I'm on the eastern border. If you're flying, it's about an hour above Sydney by flight. It's about 10 hours to drive.
Fantastic. Well, we are so glad to have you on the program. You look absolutely beautiful tonight, and we can't wait to hear your story. And let's start at the beginning by tell me a little bit about your pageantcedents. And by pageantcedents, I mean your past pageant experience and what brought you to tonight.
Okay, so I actually have no pageant experience. I'm super lucky to have worked very, very hard and won the first pageant that I entered. So I am brand new to this and just loving every moment.
Fantastic. Well, I don't know that it's ever luck. I hear this whole thing about luck from time to time. I have a feeling that you worked very, very hard. And
yes.
Of course, you never know. We always hear the thing about different day, different judges, and all that. But a lot of people want to know this. I always want to know this, even when I'm judging. How did you prepare for the pageant? Here you had no experience. How did you prepare? Did you just say, I'm going to watch Miss Congeniality 30 times? Or in which case, maybe you would work on your marksmanship.
If only it were that easy, right?
Right.
No, exactly. I worked extremely hard. I was very, very dedicated. So, yes, you are right. I guess my win was definitely not luck. It was sheer hard work. And, yeah, I guess knowing nothing has its advantages as well, because I obviously was trained for this system. And so I guess I gave them everything they were looking for, which was fantastic. But lots of walk training, lots of interview training. I'll be honest, I signed up for nationals 8 weeks out, and at that point I actually couldn't walk in heels. So I have overcome enormous boundaries and made massive progress. So yeah.
Wow, that's fantastic. Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to get to this because I know you have something spectacular. It's just like school. It's time for show and tell. Let me write that on the board. Okay, let's see. What did you bring for show and tell?
I have 2 things for you today, Tim. But firstly, these are my little mascots.
Okay.
So I've got my koala, and he's wearing his Akubra hat, which is iconically Australian.
Okay.
And we've got a little kangaroo with an Australian flag.
Okay. Now, how do you know he's a kangaroo? He looks like a rabbit to me. Does he have a pocket and everything?
He's got a beautiful big tail.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that would not be a rabbit then. Fantastic.
Yes.
Now, do either of them drink beer? I know there's a lot of beer drinking that goes on in Australia.
This guy, yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Now, wait a
beer
minute. Do
drinking
these
that
two
goes on.
have names? Do these two have names?
No, I haven't named them because they're actually a gift for somebody when I get to Vegas.
Ah, okay. Wow.
So I haven't named them.
Okay.
But yes. And the other thing I have for you is,
Okay.
and I wish I could send this to you because this is Australia's best kept secret.
It looks
And
delicious.
this is, yes, it's a koala bear called a caramello koala. And it's iconically Australian for two reasons. First of all, because it is actually in the shape of a koala.
Okay.
And second of all, because it is made by Australia's best chocolate company, Cadbury. Now, inside this, if you bite into the chocolate, is this gooey caramel, and it's stringy, and it's so good. They're amazing. My favorite Australian thing.
So is that like the Cadbury egg that we have here at Easter? Or?
Oh, so you have a Cadbury egg?
Yeah, we get the Cadbury eggs, and I'm a big partaker.
Yes. Cadbury chocolate is the best, and yes, it would be, I would say, it would be the same chocolate with this gooey caramel center. Amazing, amazing.
All right, at some point, we're going to have to figure out how to get over there to Australia. And
yes, definitely.
I need lots of chocolate to keep going. This is a big factory to keep moving. Fantastic. Now, okay, let's get back to the pageant. The pageant had a couple different phases of competition. What's your favorite phase of competition?
Ooh, I would definitely probably say evening wear. It's so glamorous and it's so beautiful. I love that. So evening wear is my favorite.
Okay, fantastic. And did you spend a lot of time looking for your evening gown?
I did. My nationals dress was so amazing that I actually had a lot of trouble choosing a dress for Vegas because I honestly didn't think I could top it. So I was very nervous about my dress to take overseas, but I'm very happy with what I've chosen. So
fantastic. And we are doing this live before the pageant. It might be after the pageant when some people discover this video. So notice how cagey she's being and not giving me too many details about the evening gown. That is called wisdom, ladies and gentlemen. So always make sure you do that when you're doing these types of interviews prior to your big pageant competition. Now, what are you looking forward to most about the nationals being held over here in the U.S.?
Well, I've never been to the US, so I'm excited to visit. I'm excited to meet all the girls and just see where the week takes me, I suppose. And obviously there's a lot of pressure on me because I'm only walking the stage for the second time. But yeah, I'm just really excited to get there and just see what happens.
So Australia, of course, when we think pageants in Australia, we think like Jennifer Hawkins and the like. How big are pageants in Australia?
It's definitely not as big as in America. It's growing. Even I will admit I've seen an increase in the growth in pageants in Australia, but it's definitely not like in the US. It's still very, it's still got a lot of stigma around it, and we're working really hard to change that.
All right. Now it's time for something scary. It's time.
Okay.
It is time. If I press a button, there it is. Whoa! Watch out! Yikes! It's the box of mystery, right here. You never know what I'm gonna pull out of here. These are totally random questions that I am going to look at and pick a good one here. Okay.
I'm scared.
You should be frightened. You should be frightened. This is. Let's see. No, we can't ask that because I already asked it. So this is why. Okay. This is an excellent question. Are you ready?
Yes.
I don't think you're ready. Hold on. Let's look. You're ready. Okay.
I'm ready for anything. I was born ready.
Okay. Okay. Here it is. When researching... I'm supposed to hold this out. When researching a pageant to enter... What is it you're looking for? There's a lot of pageant systems out there. What is it you specifically are looking for when you find a pageant? So there were a lot of pageants. This was your first pageant. What made you decide to go with Mrs. Australia Continents?
Okay, I've chose the continent system firstly because I know the system is really fair. and I know that the system has a good name. Of course, you don't really want to be involved with anything that is talked about in a negative way, and I really wanted to make sure that the system wasn't unfairly judged. And I looked for a system that, first of all, would take me, because I'm really small. I'm very short. I'm only 5'2". So I wanted a system which, would accept me. And continents don't have any weight or height restrictions, which is amazing. And I loved what this system stands for, which is be your own kind of beautiful. So it really is anyone's game in our competition. And I love that. I think that's amazing.
I am glad you told us your height, because I've been, trolling the internet and Instagram, and I saw a couple pictures of you next to Gemma, and I was like, oh, there's a height difference there.
Gemma is very tall compared to me, and even if she wears flats and I wear heels, she's still taller than me. I'm tiny. I'm very, very small. So, yeah.
Well, good things come in small packages. We all know that.
Thank you.
So, fantastic. That's wonderful. Now, I'm going to give you a moment where you can look directly into the camera and talk to the viewers or the listeners that listen later. Tell us about your year of service and what's made it special.
Okay, so I am about 6 months in to my reign as Mrs. Australia Continents, and so it's actually a bit bittersweet at this point, because I feel like I'm just settling into my role and it's coming to a close. So I'm kind of hoping that I'm going to be starting a new one in the next couple of weeks, which would be exciting. But I have loved getting into the community, continuing on my philanthropy work. I'm a mental health crusader, so I've been working with a local charity called Livin', and we are all about mental health education and suicide prevention. So I've been working very hard with them, and just really enjoying getting to know pageants and all the girls involved. It's been beautiful.
Fantastic. Now, looking again into the camera, and talk to people that are trying to decide if they should compete in the continent's pageant system. What would you say directly to someone trying to make that decision, or watching this video trying to decide if they're going to partake in this pageant? What would be your advice?
Oh, 100% go for it. It's such a beautiful system. As I said previously, I love what our system stands for, and that is be your own kind of beautiful. We're a very diverse system. As I said, we have no height or weight restrictions. We really are just promoting who you really authentically are. And that's one thing that I think can sometimes get a little bit lost in pageantry, is authenticity. But we really encompass that. And I just think anyone who's looking at continents, it's a beautiful, beautiful system. I can't even imagine doing anything else. I'm just a pageant girl. I'm just a continents pageant girl at heart. So, yeah, highly, highly recommend this system.
Fantastic. That's great to hear. Okay, we're getting to the end of tonight's interview, and something I like to do at the end of each of our interviews is get your best pageant wave. So let me set the scene for you. You are on the back of a convertible. You are going through the main street in an Australian town, emus on one side and cane toads on the other. And you're sitting there and you are waving to both sides of the street. Let's see your best pageant wave. And I'm going to grade you, so no pressure. No
pressure's on. The pressure's on.
Okay, let's see this wave. Oh, it's the wiggle, ladies and gentlemen. That is a wiggle that's a classic. Started in 1928 by Miss Esmeralda Fingerwaver. And yes, it happened in Lake Constance, believe it or not. And that was from the 1920s. As you know, I'm a historian. So very good. A very good wiggle. That was excellent, and probably won't lead to advanced carpal tunnel anytime soon. So very good job. That's fantastic. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. We appreciate you visiting us tonight and taking some time out of your day. I know it is we're doing this at night here, and it's the middle of the day over there. So you have a whole day ahead of you of fun activities. So we wish you all the best, and thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It was great. Thank you.
So what we're going to do here is, we're at the end of the show. We're going to say together, Tierra Dream. Wait, I got a point right. Which way? There we go. There we go. We're going to say Tierra Dreams together, okay? So that requires coordination, which I'm not real good at. So I'm hoping you're better at it. So
I don't know.
here we go. Tierra Dreams in 3, 2, 1. Tierra Dreams. Oh, that was bad.
That was terrible.